Hello everyone! In this video I'll be sharing my monthly review spread that I do at the end of every month. I'll talk about what I'm doing in the video first, and then I'll explain how I use this spread, why I like it, and some other ideas for how you could customize it for yourself. So the spread is pretty simple. It has a title, 2 bigger boxes, and 2 smaller boxes. I used my grid spacing spread to see how I should divide up the page, and I roughly sketched out where everything will go with a pencil first. I used 3 Crayola Supertips markers, 2 Faber-Castell fineliners, and a gold gel pen. I've been doing a cat theme for January, with one cat that has a moon on its forehead and one that has a sun on its chest. The titles I've been doing are very simple, just a beige background and wide all caps letters. I'm also going to decorate the spread with some stars and sparkles at the end. After I'm done setting up the spread, I'm going to fill it in with some examples of the kinds of things I would write here, but since I filmed this video in January, I didn't do my actual monthly review yet. I just made some stuff up and wrote it in with pencil so I could erase it later. So the spread has 4 sections, one to write down memories, one to write down accomplishments, and 2 smaller boxes, one for positive things in the month and one for negative things. The way I fill out this spread is I flip through all of my pages for the past month in my bullet journal, look over everything I wrote down, and if I find anything that seems noteworthy, then I write it down in one of the boxes in my review, depending on what it is. After I've gone through my bullet journal pages for the month, I go through my journal entries I wrote that month too. I keep a digital journal, so it's pretty easy to just skim through the entries. In the memories box, I write down important events that happened either with me or my friends and family, things that I think I would like to remember years later, things that touched me, things that were out of the ordinary. They don't have to be life-changing events though. Sometimes I write down little things like if I met a friendly dog or if I had a cold, things like that stood out or were important to me. In the accomplishments box, I write down things I achieved that month. These can also be big or small. If I set any goals for the month that I reached, I'll write that down. If I cleaned something I don't clean often, if I started a new habit, stuff like that. If I started working towards a goal but didn't reach it, I'll add that too, because I think putting in time and effort is more important than results. But also, if I stopped doing something that wasn't good for me, if I did less of something because I didn't have enough time or energy, I'll put that here too. Or if I asked for help with something I was struggling with, or spent a day or 2 resting because I felt like I needed it. Taking care of yourself well is an accomplishment too, not just doing productive things. In the bottom 2 boxes, I'll write basically everything else that doesn't go in the memories or accomplishment sections. I write things I liked or made me happy in the first one, and things I didn't like or made me unhappy in the second one. I'll write general things like what my mood has been like, things that have been on my mind, or what I've been going through emotionally. I usually write something about the weather too, because the weather really affects my mood. I'll also write down more specific things, like if there was a game I spent a lot of time playing, or if I discovered some new music I like, a TV show I enjoyed watching, things like that. I find making these spreads really useful. It's really helpful to divide your time into manageable chunks like this. If I don't go over the events of each month, the days just seem to melt together, and I forget a lot of things. I feel like I can't really put my finger on what happened or how I've changed or grown. When I fill out my monthly review, I'm almost always surprised at how much happened that month. It always feels like less. If I take the time to look back at each month and summarize it like this, it's easier to see the things that mattered, the things I would like to remember, the things that I'm proud of myself for. Doing this helps me feel more grounded and balanced, and I feel like I have a clearer view of my life this way. Also, I like the feeling of wrapping up the previous month, finishing it properly, and starting the new one with a clean slate. It gives me a satisfying sense of closure and starting fresh. It helps me appreciate the past and let it go so I can be more present. It also helps me see how much I can comfortably accomplish in a month so I can set realistic goals. Another great thing about writing monthly reviews is it makes it much easier to write a yearly review at the end of the year. It's pretty simple to just go over these monthly review spreads and carry over the most important things to the yearly review. This way I can be sure I'm not forgetting anything and I don't get overwhelmed by how much I have to go over, since I've already summarized each month beforehand. And looking over my monthly reviews at the end of the year helps me see the ways in which I've changed, and also the parts of my life where I felt stuck or struggled more if I kept writing down the same problems month after month. So that's how I use my monthly review spread, but there are a million different ways you could do it. You could have a space to write down lessons you've learned that month, or a space for a favorite quote, a favorite song, the highlight and low point of your month. You could also add some more specific things, like if you have a hobby, skill, or project you're working on, you could have a place to write down how that's been going. Or you could make sections to write about different areas of your life, like your relationships, your health, your work, your emotional and mental health. Well, that's all. I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some ideas for your own bullet journal. Thanks for watching. Bye!